All right. So today's class is going to be different. I always say that, right? I always say, oh, a little different. No, today's going to be different. So we'll start seated, and I'll just kind of introduce the class to you and then tell you what we're doing, um, and then we'll go. So our theme for today is the pose begins when we want to leave it. There's debate around who actually said that. But you may have heard it in a yoga class before. Maybe this is something completely new to you. So sometimes we get into a pose that's a long hold or a more challenging pose, um, and we start to just want to go. Like, this is enough. I've had enough. I've been holding this for long enough, and it can challenge us. So we're going to be holding some poses for a little while. I have a timer just to make sure I'm not making you hold them too long or too short. But as we go through this practice today, there's something I really need you to pay attention to is how it feels in your body. So we want to find that edge where it's like delicious discomfort, right? It's like when you get a massage and it hurts, but if it's a good kind of hurt. So that's what we want. We don't want any burning, sharp shooting pain, uh, anything like that, right? So just kind of to finding your edge. If you start to get that uncomfortable, like the sharp shooting pain, come out of the pose. So that being said, we're going to hold poses longer. The reason why we do this is because some things start to happen in our minds when we get to a point of discomfort. We want to get out, we want to run, we have a hard time sitting through it. So I invite you, when you get to that point where you want to come out, not because of pain, but just because it's uncomfortable, see if you can hold it for 2 more breaths and just see what happens. So life throws us stuff all the time that is really uncomfortable to sit with. And this kind of practice is a good way to bring that into our lives. Okay. So we're going to start seated. We're going to get up and moving a little faster than we normally do. So we'll just start by lowering or closing our eyes. Noticing the sensation of your breath. Notice the quality of your breath today. Noticing if maybe it catches somewhere and where it flows. Notice if perhaps it's shallow or deep. Notice where you feel your breath the most. All right, so for today's practice, we're going to use Ujjayi breath, which I pretty much never teach, but I'm going to teach it today. So, as you breathe here, imagine when you breathe out that you are breathing like you are fogging up a mirror. So, you can always try it with your mouth open first if you want. Maybe imagine a mirror in front of you. And as you breathe out, it's that constriction in the back of the throat. Almost like you're whispering. You can try that with the hand in front. Maybe you take the hand away, close the mouth. And then once you find that constriction, see if you can breathe in that way as well. So inhale with that constriction. Take your time with your breath. So our Ujjayi breath, ocean sounding breath, can help us to focus a little more on our breath rather than allowing the sensations of the pose to want to pull us away. So see if you can stay with that breath during our practice. I'll remind you of the Ujjayi breath. If it's uncomfortable for you, just deep inhales, long, slow exhales. So one more round of breath here. And gently opening the windows of your eyes. All right. We're going to come right into a tabletop pose. So remember, if you want, you can always use a blanket underneath your knees to protect your knees. Wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. I had to think about that one. That's funny. And then shoulders roll back and down your spine. Draw the belly button in. Okay. And then from here, let's find some C shapes. So allowing your hips to come over towards the right side, looking over your right shoulder towards your hip. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, come over to the other side. All right, let's moving with your own breath a few more times. Inhale to center and exhale over. So as we go through our practice today, remember you can take a break if you need to. Come into any kind of resting pose that feels good. And then join us again when you're ready. Okay, so one more time in each direction. All right, and we're gonna come back to our tabletop pose. Right foot will come back behind you. Place the toes of the right foot on the earth. And then just find some rocking motion here. So feeling a little bit of a stretch along the calf. Maybe you hang out in that stretch for a few rounds of breath. So we're just kind of warming up a little. All right. And then when you're ready, crossing the right foot over towards the left side. And then you're going to take a peek over your left shoulder if that's comfortable for you. So finding that C shape once again in your body. And on your next inhale, come back to tabletop. Let's find the other side. Left foot comes back. Oops, toes to the floor. Maybe you find a rocking motion. Maybe you hang out a little bit in the stretch. And then when you're ready, allowing your foot to cross over towards the right side, looking over the right shoulder towards your foot. Gently come back to your tabletop pose. All right, curl your toes under, sending your hips up and back behind you, downward dog. So shoulders roll back and down your spine. Gripping your fingers into the earth. And send your hips back. So maybe you keep a bit of a bend in your knees here. Perhaps you pedal out your feet. Soften your neck, release any tension that you feel. Okay, so however it feels comfortable for you, making your way towards the front of your mat into a forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart. As much of a bend in your knees as you need so there's no discomfort in your low back or backs of your thighs. Again, head dangles. Maybe you find some swaying movements here. Maybe you grab a hold of opposite elbows. Okay, in your own time, let's come into halfway lift. So hands come to shins or thighs. Flat back here. crown of your head reaches towards the front of your mat. Draw the belly button in. And then on your next inhale, let's come all the way up to standing with a flat back. Okay, so mountain pose near the front of your mat. So you're going to stand, feet are hip distance apart. Sorry, I notice it's hard to see my head. Feet are hip distance apart, shoulders roll back and down your spine. Imagine there's a block between your thighs, squeeze the block. On your inhale, reaching up towards the sky, extended mountain. And on your exhale with a flat back, arms out to the side, swan diving down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, fold. Arms come out to the side. On your inhale, reverse swan dive up with a flat back. Arms reach up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, extended mountain. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Last one, inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Let's hold this forward fold. Couple rounds of breath. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, taking a big step back with the right foot, we're going to come into warrior two. So right foot comes parallel to the back of the mat, front heel intersects with the middle of the back foot, or maybe comes up to the ankle or heel, bending into the front knee, checking to make sure your knee is over your ankle in line with your second or third toe, and squaring your hips towards the long edge of the mat. Okay. All right, so let's find a reverse warrior. Back hand comes down, front palm turns up. We want to reach up and over from our waist rather than our hips. Okay, that top shoulder rolls back and down your spine. Maybe if it's in your body, the right hand comes behind your low back, palm faces back. Perhaps it starts to make its way towards the top of the left thigh. All right, hold for a few breaths. So we're just going to hold not too long on this one. Remember I said I have a timer? I forgot the timer. All right, inhale, come back to your warrior two. And exhale, we'll come into side angle. Top forearm comes down, or left forearm. Top arm reaches up and over, rolling that right shoulder back and down your spine. Feel length here from the tips of your finger all the way down to the pinky toe edge of the right foot. And try not to collapse in on this arm. So we're going to kind of move through this a little bit faster, and then we'll hold longer. Inhale, windmilling your arms up to warrior two. Exhale, let's turn our feet so they're parallel to the sides of the mat. Hands come to your hips. Inhale to lengthen your spine, and exhale to fold forward, going only as far as you feel comfortable. Hands come to thighs, maybe shins, perhaps a block if you have one, or the earth. All right, one more round of breath. And then bringing your hands to your waist, inhale to find length in your spine, and exhale to come up to standing. Okay, we're going to turn back to our warrior two. Okay, and then we're going to straighten the front leg. We'll find triangle. So in our triangle pose, reaching forward with the left hand, almost as if you're reaching across the table for something. And then left hand comes to either thigh, shin, a block, or the earth. Keep a slight micro bend in the left leg. So we want to imagine there's a wall behind us, head, shoulders, hips come up against that wall. All right, windmill your arms back up, warrior two. We're going to come down, windmill the hands, come into a plank pose. So find your plank, maybe it's knees down or knees up. We're going to hold just for a few breaths. Find your ujjayi breath, ocean sounding breath. And then whichever plank you're in, shift your weight forward slightly. Knees to the earth if they aren't already there. Tuck the elbows, chest and chin follow. So baby cobra, shoulders roll back and down your spine, tucking the elbows in by your sides. Stretch your legs away from you, point your toes, and then place the shoelace part of your feet down onto the earth. Gently lift your heart up off the earth, looking down. So there's a nice straight line in the neck. And then release here. So either reverse push up or tabletop, downward dog. Making your way towards the front of your mat into a forward fold. Again, it could be however you feel like you need to get there. On your inhale, let's come into a halfway lift. Okay, we're going to hold this one a little longer. So finding balance in the four corners of your feet, big toe mound, baby toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. So equal amount of weight in the four corners of your feet. Drop. Reach the crown of the head towards the front of the mat. Shoulders roll back and down your spine. So you feel a little bit of activation here in the core. Maybe you feel a little bit of something happening in the back. No pain. Maybe it's just kind of activating. All right, one more round of breath. And then exhale to forward fold. So we're going to find our warrior two on the other side. Left foot takes a big step back. Right foot intersects with the middle of the back foot. Windmilling your arms up. Squaring your hips. Okay, we'll find our reverse warrior. Back hand comes down, front palm turns up. Reach from the waist. Top shoulder rolls back and down your spine. Back hand can come behind your low back if you wish. Maybe towards the front of the right thigh, starting into a bind. On your next inhale, warrior two. And exhale, side angle. So notice what's happening with that left hand. Sometimes it gets a little floppy, fingers get a little loose. Bringing the fingers together. Reach the arm, but roll that top shoulder back and down. And we want to try and make sure that we're not looking or rotating down. We can look down, but we don't want to rotate our torso down. We want to keep it almost as if there's that wall behind us, right? One more round of breath. Inhale, windmilling your arms up to warrior two. Exhale, this time we're going to come into goddess pose. So turning the toes towards the top corners of the mat. Okay, we're going to sit our hips down, send the knees back so that they're preferably over the ankle in line with the second or third toe. So sometimes when we get into this pose, we tend to sit back. We want to send the tailbone down. We'll find cactus arms. We're only going to be here for a few breaths for this round. We're going to repeat all this and hold it. All right. 2 more rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, push up, come into star pose, arms reach out wide. Can't see my arms, but you can see the shadow of my arms. All right, back to your warrior two pose. And then we'll find triangle, straighten the front leg, just a micro bend in the knee, reaching forward, and then find your triangle. So hands wherever's comfortable. So head can be wherever feels comfortable for you. Sometimes gaze comes up towards the top fingers, but I know with myself, my neck feels so much better looking down. Okay, bend into the front knee, come back into your warrior two. Windmilling your hands down to frame your front foot, coming back into a plank pose, your plank. Push your arms or hands into the earth, push away from the earth so you're not sinking down. Okay, shift your weight forward, knees to the earth, chest and chin follow. All right, let's find a baby cobra, shoulders roll back and down your spine, tops of your feet push down to the earth. And either reverse push up or tabletop, downward dog. All right, so pedaling out your feet in your downward dog. Shoulders roll back and down. Okay, so we're going to make our way back into a warrior two. So left foot comes up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Shifting your weight forward, stepping the left foot through between your hands or however you need to get it through. Spinning the right foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Windmilling your arms back up to warrior two. All right, check your front knee over the ankle in line with the second or third toe. Turn your palms up and allow your shoulders to drop. Keep the shoulders and upper arms where they are and just turn the palms back down. All right, we're going to hold for a little bit. So remember your ujjayi breath. Almost as if you are whispering or fogging up a mirror. Taking your gaze over your front hand. Almost there. Okay, and coming into reverse warrior, back hand comes down, front palm turns up, reach up and over from the waist, still bend into that front knee. So the pose begins when we want to come out. Notice where your mind is going. If you're ready to come out, see if you can hold it for 2 more breaths. Windmilling your arms back to warrior two, side angle. Left forearm comes to the thigh, right arm reaches up and over towards the front of the room. All right, so you have options here. You can stay in this variation of a side angle, or perhaps the left hand comes down to either a block or the earth. If it's in your practice finding a bind, right hand comes back behind you, palm faces back, left hand comes underneath, hands clasped together, rotate the heart up towards the sky. Notice what's going on in your mind. Can you breathe through it? 2 more breaths. Windmilling your arms back up, warrior two, and straighten the front leg. Ha! Slight micro bend in the knee. We're going to do triangle, reaching the hand forward, come into your variation of triangle. Again, imagine that wall behind you. So we're going to hold for a little bit here in this pose. Remember, no pain, but you might feel something happening in your body. Might be the back of the left thigh, might be the top of the right hip, might be somewhere else totally different. Try and breathe through it. Back out if it's sharp shooting pain. Almost there. Okay, bending into the front knee. Windmill your arms up, warrior two. Little break here, turning the feet so they're parallel to the sides of the mat. Inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale, forward fold. Again, hands come wherever's comfortable in this pose. Find your breath. Allowing your hands to come to your hips. And on your inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, come up. Okay, we're going to come back to warrior two towards the front of the mat, just for a breath. And then hands windmill down towards the earth. Step that left foot back into your plank pose. All right, so find your plank. Draw the belly button in. Push your body away from the earth. Gripping your fingers into the earth. You can also try, if you're up on your toes, send your heels back. Try not to collapse. Find your breath. Your Ujjayi breath. Is it getting difficult? What is your mind doing? See if you can stay 2 more breaths. Wherever you are, shift your weight forward, drop your knees to the earth. Chest and chin follow. All right, so we're going to do baby cobra. Shoulders roll back and down, tuck the elbows, tops of the feet to the earth. Looking down at the earth. This time, see if you can lift your hands up off the earth. Keep squeezing the shoulders towards each other. So squeezing the elbows in. Lost my timer. Ujjayi breath. Try not to lose the integrity of the pose, so try not to get lazy and start to sink. Hold the pose. Releasing your hands and chest to the earth. Either reverse push-up or tabletop downward dog. Okay, other side. Right foot reaches up towards the sky, 3-legged dog. Sending the right foot forward between the hands. Left foot comes parallel to the back of the mat. Windmilling up, warrior two. All right, check your front knee. Turning the palms up. Drop the shoulders, then turn the palms down. Looking over your front arm. Ujjayi breath. And see if you can focus somewhere just beyond your fingers. Let's find reverse warrior. Back hand comes down, front palm turns up, reach up and over. Find your variation here. I know you want to straighten the front leg. Can you breathe through it? Slow Ujjayi breath or diaphragmatic breath. Windmilling your arms back, warrior two. Finding side angle, front forearm comes to the thigh, reaching the top arm up and over. Perhaps the hand comes to a block or the earth. Try and rotate the heart up. Maybe you find that bind if it's in your body. Still bend into the front knee. How can you sit with discomfort just a little bit longer? One more round of breath. And then releasing your arms, come back to warrior two. Straightening the front leg, reaching with the front hand, triangle pose. Woo. I laugh because I can feel my low back adjusting as I do this. Can you sit with the sensations for a few more rounds of breath? Remember, no pain, but maybe some discomfort. One more round of breath. Windmilling your arms back up to warrior two. We're going to turn our feet. We're not going to come right into goddess pose just yet. Okay, wide-legged forward fold. So maybe your hands are on your hips, or perhaps if it's in your body, clasping your hands behind your low back, shoulders roll back and down your spine, folding forward with a flat back. Perhaps the arms reach up towards the sky. Notice if any part of your body is talking to you. One more round of breath. If your hands are up towards the sky, bend your elbows, hands to low back. We'll all bring our hands to our hips. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to come back up. Goddess pose. Toes point out towards the corners. Sitting your hips down, send the knees back. You may need to adjust your feet so that your toes are going over knees are going over second or third toe. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Tailbone points down. Perhaps it's cactus arms. And breathe. Finding that Ujjayi breath. And maybe that's what you need to focus on. Perhaps you sit a little further down. Know that if you want to come out, you're likely not alone. Almost there. Keep the knees over the ankles. Can you hold for 3, 2, 1. Up into star pose. Ha! Coming back to warrior two. Windmilling your hands to frame your front foot. Come back into your variation of a plank pose. So again, find your form here. We don't want a tailbone up towards the sky. We don't want to allow the hips to sink down. Nice straight line. Use the strength in your arms to push away from the earth. Grip your fingers. Find your breath. Draw the belly button in. Listen to your yoga teacher's voice shake. All right, let's drop our knees to the earth and come back into child's pose. Big toes together. Maybe knees are apart, arms are out long. Taking deep inhales, long, slow exhales. So this restful space here can remind us that there's always that moment of peace after being in discomfort. There's always time to rest and rejuvenate and restore. All right, one more round of breath here. And then let's make our way up into a tabletop pose. And we'll come into seated. So a couple of longer holds today in our seated poses. Let's start with revolved nose to knee. So we'll bring the left foot in, right foot comes out to the side and activate the right foot. If you have a block or a blanket that you can use to bring the floor up closer to you, you certainly can do that. Or maybe you place your arm on your leg somewhere. So we're going to place the right forearm on the leg, palm faces up towards the sky. Keeping the right foot active, curl back the toes. Left arm rolls back and down. Sorry, left shoulder. Okay. Left arm reaches up and over towards the right foot. Okay, so this bottom arm can go wherever's comfortable. You might be up on the thigh, on the shin. You could be somewhere on a block or the earth. And we want to try, kind of like we did with our side angle, we want to try and roll the rib cage up towards the sky. But head can look down if that's more comfortable for you. Notice where you feel this sensation in your body. No sharp shooting pain. If there is, come out, back up, find your edge, and then try and breathe into it. One more round of breath. Okay, we're going to windmill our arms back up. Just because it's fun to do, let's bring the left hand to the floor, coming up onto the left knee if that's comfortable. If not, just bring the arm up and over. You can be on sitting doing this. And then exhale, slowly make your way down. Let's come over to the other side. Left foot out, right foot in. Activating the left foot. Left forearm to the leg, right shoulder rolls back and down, reaching the right arm up and over. Keep that right shoulder roll back and down to protect your shoulder. Again, we're rotating the rib cage up towards the sky. Try not to let the right arm get floppy. Keep the fingers active, fingers together. Find your breath. Maybe even notice how it feels in your body along the right side of your rib cage as you breathe. Ujjayi breath, nice and slow. One more round of breath. And then windmilling your arms back up, right hand to the earth. Maybe the left arm reaches up and over. Maybe you come up onto that bottom knee. Gently making your way back down. All right, let's bring both legs out in front and shake out the legs. Okay, so similar way to start with the next shape that we're going to make, a little different though. So tucking the left foot in, right foot comes out to the side. Activate the right foot. we're going to find a little bit of a twist first. So if it helps to bring your hands behind you, sit up nice and tall, and then turning towards the right leg. As far as you feel comfortable, you can always move the right leg in. So find length in your spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. See if you can start by sending your heart towards your toes. So keeping that length in your spine. Pushing the right heel down into the earth helps to prevent you from locking out your knee. If it's really uncomfortable, you feel free to grab a block or a rolled blanket and place it underneath the knee. All right. If you don't have any low back issues, slip discs, or anything like that, feel free to now round towards that front leg. So you'll feel a stretch here, possibly on the back as well. And breathe. Find your edge. Don't push beyond it. So we have two kinds of ways to deal with things. Sometimes we want to run away. Sometimes we push ourselves too far. Are you able to find the edge and stay there? Finding one more round of breath. Slowly coming back up to center. Let's find a bit of a counter twist here. So right hand comes to left knee, left hand comes behind you. Inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale to turn. With every inhale, lengthening. And every exhale, maybe you turn a little further, or maybe you just kind of imagine that you're turning further. Breathing into it. On your next inhale, lengthening your spine, and exhale, coming back to center. All right, left foot comes out, right foot comes in, activating the left foot. Find length in your spine as you inhale, and then turning towards the left side. See if you can square yourself over that leg, keeping the left foot active. And exhale, fold forward, send the heart towards the toes, keeping a nice straight spine to begin. Again, options if you have discomfort along the back of that leg, try not to lock out the knee. And if it's comfortable for you and you don't have back issues, maybe you round. Let's find one more round of breath. And then slowly making your way back up. We'll find that counter twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale to turn. On your next inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, coming back to center. Let's bring the legs out, shake the legs out. Okay, so one more pose. This pose is really going to depend on your body. So you're going to really listen to your body, no sharpshooting pain. So here's what we're going to do. If you have blocks nearby or pillows, feel free to grab them. If you have a blanket that can come underneath your knees, if that's extra, feel free to grab that as well. So we're going to come onto our knees and we're going to bring our big toes together and knees apart. And you're going to sit back, if you can, on your heels. If it's not comfortable to sit here, feel free to grab those blocks or blankets or pillows and place them underneath your hips. So we want a little bit of a stretch here along the front of the thighs. We don't want the thighs together in this pose. We want them out, but toes together. All right. So perhaps you stay here. Or maybe you bring your hands back behind you. Perhaps you come up onto fingertips, shoulders roll back and down your spine. All right, so nice and gentle. We don't want to do anything to the knee. If it's comfortable for you, if you're not too tight, perhaps you start to walk your hands back, coming down onto your forearms. And breathe. Wherever you are, find your breath, your ujjayi breath. Perhaps you lower or close your eyes. Finding one more round of breath. If you're on your forearms, slowly come up onto your hands. Let's all slowly come out of this pose into a tabletop pose. All right, and then make your way down onto your back. Shavasana, or any final resting pose that feels good for you. Return to your breath. Maybe it's just breathing deeply into the diaphragm. Long, slow exhales out. So a quote here by Pema Chodron. When we are able to stay even a moment with uncomfortable energy, we gradually learn not to fear it. So that discomfort that we were able to breathe through, sit with, whether it was physical or emotional, gives us a greater ability to endure future discomfort. Allow for Shavasana to be a place of relief. So you can stay here as long as you would like. I am going to leave you where you are. Before I go, I would like to say thank you very much for joining me during practice today. May you go today in peace, love, joy, and gratitude. Have a beautiful evening.